Okay, everything is recording. We will see, because it tends to stop before. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? It doesn't matter. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that if one goes wrong, we should still have a show.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, we should still have a show.
Okay. Good to go.
All right. Shall I do the clap?
Yeah. All right.
We're in. Kick things off, my friend.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
Yes, guys! Welcome back to the Cannon Podcast in real life. We're here with many cameras. Look at all the cameras, James.
This isn't StreamYard. This is all, I know.
You're real.
I know, yeah.
Hello, welcome to the Cannon Club. This is the pilot episode of the Cannon Club. I like that name, Cannon Club.
Yeah, me too. 5 screens I've counted.
5 screens. No one needs that many screens. It's actually quite disconcerting. I can see myself on every single one.
This is not that good a show.
Yeah. We don't doesn't need it.
It really doesn't.
We just thought we'd try a little multicam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm here with James. You know James. James from the Gooniverse.
This is my bedroom, by the way.
Yeah, this is
I'm going to be deadly serious. This is the Gooniverse set, and I mean, that's where I sleep over there, and you'll catch from another angle, like my desk a bit.
It's a cozy little setup. We're trialing a new show. Basically, let us know what you think of it in the comments. Ideally, after you've watched it. Great show. You know when you post a video and someone comments like "loved it" after like a minute, and you're like, "I really appreciate the comment."
Yeah.
You haven't watched it.
My favourite is 10 views after 3 minutes. Bro fell off.
Bro's fallen off. So this is going to be basically the debate show on the Cannon Podcast. We realised we didn't really have like a debate show. Today we're looking at the best ever Emirates moment. But the idea for the show is that you, watching at home, you decide what we debate. The two most mild-mannered...
we don't disagree on anything,
calm,
so it's good of us.
Rational Arsenal fans. It's not a debate show, but yeah, we hoped it would be like an actually fun debate show. And yeah, the idea would be every week we come up with someone has commented and said you should debate this next, and we debate it. We could do ranks, we could do tier lists, we could do I don't know, whatever. Think of
head to heads, all that.
That's your job. Think of something.
Basically, anything that you think people might disagree on.
Yeah,
and yeah.
So yes, in the week that Declan Rice scored his 2 free kicks against Real Madrid, we thought we would ask the question, what is the best Emirates era moment? So on your screens right now is the quarterfinalists for the 8, what we think are the 8 best moments but basically the only criteria is it had to have happened in the Emirates Stadium. That is the only criteria. George did say the Santi free kick, which technically was in the Emirates FA Cup.
Yes.
But it was all Wembley, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
These are the 8. Let us know what you think of those in the comments down below. Honourable mentions before we actually get into the matchups.
I'm excited to chat about these because you obviously put a tweet out, and do we still call it a tweet? I'm calling it a tweet.
Do it.
Yeah.
Screw the man.
Yeah, I do what I want.
That's what I want, lads.
I call X Twitter. Wow, what a rebel. I really enjoyed some of the things that came in, and to be fair, I think only one we saw kind of maybe wiggled its way in. Yeah, but there's some good ones here. But kick it off.
There were some very good ones. The Spurs 5-2 in 2011-2012.
Yeah, that was from 2-0 down. I think they would have pulled something like 11 clear of us if they won.
Yeah.
And from 2-0 down, Van Persie, Sanya, Rosicky, I think Walcott got 1 or 2. And yeah, it was just one of those where, they were doing well under Harry Redknapp, but from 2-0 down, I think Adebayor might have scored a penalty or something, or I think Chesney saved it, rebounded. Anyway, I won't waffle on about it. Van Persie, Sanya, Rosicky, a couple from Walcott, I think. And we go and win that game 5-2. The first of 2 5-2s in a row at the Emirates. But yeah.
Can I say something that's going to get me some hate?
Go on.
This was in my era. So I was like a proper Arsenal fan as a kid. Then I think in this era, I was such a casual.
Fair enough.
I remember the result.
Yeah.
I do not remember the game.
Yeah.
So it can't go on my list.
No, fair enough. I think it was about 3-4 years before that I started to get really obsessed by Arsenal. Yeah. So I remember it quite well. Yeah. The one after, which was sent through, was Henry's winner against United. I think this was in our first year at the Emirates. So obviously this being a few years before that, this might be my first ever memory of like a big Arsenal win and a big Arsenal moment. I always say I'm an Emirates era fan because I've never watched a live game of us at Highbury. I just came that a bit after. It was actually after the Champions League final. So there we go, trying to glory hunt. But went drastically down from there. But I stayed around. 1-0 down to Man United. I think it was Rooney at the back post or something who scored. And then Van Persie from an angle, roof of the net, 83rd minute, and then 93rd Henry with that header. And like, I think that I can't remember feeling this because, like I said, I wasn't a Highbury fan. But a lot of people said that was kind of, even though it was only the first season, it was a bit of a bridge. Oh, we're home a little bit. I mean, and it's still taking a long time for people to feel that. Some even don't feel that. But I think that certainly helped.
Yeah, for sure. Two more honourable mentions before we go back to the quarterfinalists. We had the Rice 23-24 United winner, which was unbelievable. To be fair, I think that combined with the Jesus dagger as well.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I'm so glad you mentioned that. The thing with
some of these is we've isolated like Rice's free kicks, but because it was on the night of the 3-0, it's kind of so some of them we're gonna have to debate them. But this was up there. This was close. I remember that was I remember screaming because I think it was the first. I always talk about 22-23, like hoping, 23-24, not expecting, but there's another word of like sort of like
believing.
Believing.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
Yeah, we use that one.
I think that was like what you sort of thought maybe, and then the 5-0 against Chelsea was the other one.
Yeah, for me, you're so right to mention Jesus. It was the chop, drag it on his right, and then roll it in the back of the net.
Did you see that video? Everyone going, "Go on!"
Yeah, and everyone is like, and the Vieira pass was nice, and then the bench erupts, and we also not started that season great. We just kind of got past Forest and Palace, and we drew Fulham, and boom. So that was great. Rice announcing himself.
Okay, let's get into it. The quarterfinalists. We chose 8. We chose the Rice free kicks. We chose Henry's return.
A lot of people aren't happy they're on the same side.
Listen, I didn't make the seeding apart from the fact that I did. Henry's return in, I believe it was 2012.
Yeah,
against Leeds.
I think it was,
the problem is the Barca 2011, we have to isolate it to a moment. So I might say the Arshavin goal.
But I think it's got to be the Arshavin goal.
So it's got to be a moment in the same way that the Rice probably the second free kick, probably the Arshavin moment. Welbeck versus Leicester in 2016. Nelson versus Bournemouth in, when was that? 22-23. Giroud, I think in 2017, the scorpion kick.
Yeah, I think it must have been 16-17.
The City 5-1 and Wilshere against Norwich. Do you know what?
So what were we saying about the moment for City 5-1, sorry?
Miles' goal, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think that has to be the goal for the moment. So yeah, let's get into it. Do you know what I will say? Just having a look at that as well, we need to win some trophies, man. Some of these are just nice goals.
I know.
The best moments in our stadium are just nice goals.
It's so true.
Incredible Premier League defining goals, but
I know
there is a nice goal on there.
And I don't want to, shit on our club, but if you ask a City fan to do this just for the last 10 years, they're pulling out, 2-0 down at home to Villa. They're pulling out the Aguero moment. Yeah. They're pulling out
title-winning goals.
Things like that. Or like 4-0 versus Madrid en route to winning the Champions League and the treble. Listen, I'm not trying, but I'm so with you. Yeah. This is kind of like we're kind of still a great club and a big club because we can have really special nights and moments. But my word, we
do need to win something.
Bring some silverware
ASAP Rocky. Let's start with probably the toughest lineup, which is let's say the second Rice free kick is the moment. But to be honest, all these moments are going to be caked in all the other stuff that was happening that night.
Of course, yeah.
Versus the Henry return.
Yeah, no one's looking at that Henry return and going, it's just the finish. We beat Leeds 1-0. Yeah, off we went to the fourth round of the FA Cup. 1-0. It's everything around it. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, listen, you go first because.
So there's definitely recency bias. We're recording 2 days after it happened. The Rice free kick.
I agree. Rice goes through.
I'll make a case for both. I think there's something unbelievably special about your greatest ever player who is in this room. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. 1, 2. Yeah. There's a few Henrys in here. Yeah.
The coming back, coming on. In that context, it wasn't a particularly special game, but like in the context of just a football game, doing the finish that he is known for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and also, do you know what adds to it is the commentary. He may be cast in bronze, but this is a truly golden moment.
Yeah.
That genuine, it's kind of iconic.
That is an unbelievable line, isn't it? Yeah.
Pull that out.
That's unbelievable. They must be practicing them.
The Rice free kick, the problem is we have the context of the Henry one, which is that it didn't do anything. It didn't really mean anything in the end. It's outside of the moment itself.
Sure.
But if that goes on, if we go on to win the Champions League, and that was like, that's probably like that will end up being easily the best Emirates moment, I think.
Yeah, I think.
But we don't have the context yet, so we can't say that. That's not fair.
Okay, so here,
unless we're going to win the Champions League. James.
Here's the way I look at it, right? So there's kind of two things. There's the moment in terms of almost like the likeliness of it happening, how incredible it is that even happened.
Yeah,
and you're right. It's winning 1-0. It's like it's 0-0. We're not really going through. We weren't having that great season. Henry comes and kind of saves us and wins it with his iconic moment. But
go on.
What Rice did on both free kicks is a moment of...
I think we have to... I say it's a one... The second free kick. We have to say it's... Obviously, it's everything around it.
But do you not think the second free kick, even in the context of he just scored another one before, adds to it?
100%.
So, like, it's such a special moment for me, the Henry one, especially because I keep saying I'm an Emirates fan, so I had 1 year of Henry at the Emirates. I never really saw him at his best, so that must feel even better for people who watched him all those years of Highbury and then coming back. It must feel incredible. But for me, I'm edging towards Rice because, and I'm so sorry, Thierry, my word, it sounds awful to say. When it comes down to it, it was to win. You never know.
It might be. Hi, Thierry.
When it comes down to it,
big Rohan fan.
Unbelievable moment, unbelievable moment to beat Leeds 1-0 in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
This was 2 free kicks against probably the best goalkeeper in the world, the European champions. We're having a shocker of the season. It's 0-0, and he does it twice. I know you said only think about once, but even in the context of the second, it's pulling out having done it the first time.
I think what it's also, I think what has to be taken into account on it's not only the emotion around it, it's the skill of the thing.
Couldn't agree more.
And with all due respect, he has to bury that. He's clean through. And I think what it is for the Henry return is it's like a cherry on top of something already. Whereas Rice created something with his free kick. It created the momentum to go and win the game. And hopefully to win the Champions League. At which point, if we had that context, as we can't now, it just Rice immediately.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be closer. I think it is Rice. Are we being biased? Is it recency bias?
I think the comments will be really interesting with this because they might say, look, there's every chance this Rice free kick goes down as just like a... Yeah, some people look at it as, wow, our £105 million player scored some free kicks. Like, I expect that. I'm not. But
who?
I don't know. Like some
boring misery guts.
Really, but there are some people like that, and others will go, "Our King's come back and done this." Like, you know, you can spin this a lot of ways. I think what you touched on there with the skill is a massive point. Like, you know, some will say Henry in his 30s coming back doing it. Was he in the MLS? I think. Or he brought him back. So I hear
the off season in MLS.
Yeah, so I do hear all that, but I just think. It's to potentially, because it's not done yet, it might be 2 free kicks that potentially killed the European champions that night. I just think the context around that is unbelievable. And I can't look past the fact it happened twice.
But we don't know the context. But I do agree it's Rice.
If it was 1 free kick, say the first or the second, and we won the game 1-0, I think that would still go down as a great moment. But then this is a really interesting battle. Yeah. But en route to a 3-0 win against Real Madrid, and you've done it twice. I think I know I keep talking about the 2.
Also with the atmosphere that night, like we haven't played Madrid since 2006. It wasn't. I'm so sorry. I was there. It was unbelievable. I'm so sorry.
No, of course I understand.
Like the atmosphere was
right,
insane. I think Rice goes through.
Yeah, and it's I mean, Henry's return could well be in the. A lot of people think this should be the final. I don't. I think there's 1 or 2 moments that creep in there.
Yeah,
but
I think Rice goes.
Cool. All right, Rice is through.
Let's go on to the second quarterfinal, which is, I guess we'd say, so the Arshavin moment, but that performance against Barcelona in 2011. And then the Welbeck header to beat Leicester in 2016. Do you remember where you were? I remember exactly where I was for the Welbeck one.
Yeah.
in my back room, and it was Valentine's Day 2016. I'll tell you why I know that. Someone, and we still don't know who, put a rose on my sister's car.
Oh. Okay.
And it's still a mystery. But I remember hearing about that, going into the back room to watch the game. And it's so vivid. It's like a white car, red rose.
Okay.
Welbeck is like that associative memory thing.
I call this the Dolomites Derby. I'll tell you why. Because this... I'm going to tell you. So the Dolomites are the mountain range in Italy where my family took me skiing, right? Mm-hmm. And I watched both these games there. Like, it's really random. So I've grown up going for 1 week out of 52, like every year.
Both were there?
Both were there because they were both around February time, weren't they? I think one was Valentine's Day, Welbeck Leicester, and Barca, first knockout rounds of the Champions League, so it was around February, March time. And I watched both in two separate cafes, but just wherever they were showing the game, and I caught it. And I went mental. I mean, I nearly got thrown out of both. But in terms of this is so difficult.
This is tough.
Because I think we also, you talk about the context in which we know how everything ended up. Yeah. But I also think you have to cast your mind back to the context of
Barca 2011.
And
the Leicester
that we
season,
thought we were going to win the league from that moment. So you almost have to, the moment has to exist in that moment to a degree as well. And for me, like, I saw Welbeck score that goal and I went, oh my God, like, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I know we didn't, but
do you know
I know we're not applying that to the Rice free kicks.
But also I think you're right in, I think at the time, one of the big things about Wenger at the end and that team was that we were soft mentally. Yeah. And we couldn't go and do that. Yeah. And I think it felt so different that that Arsenal team that did have a soft underbelly, whatever you want to call it, which I'm so glad we don't have that anymore, which is why I'm confident about what's happening in Champions League, but that's a different conversation. That team did that. It doesn't feel like a very end of Wenger team to, in a title race, at home, 1-1, pull someone out the back. Yeah. That doesn't feel right. And I remember, I suppose it's difficult because we're talking about two moments. We have to pick a moment in terms of, obviously, the Arshavin moment. It's the packaging. But in terms of a high on that one moment where the ball hits the back of the net. Yeah.
Or sensational.
But equally, you're right, though, that, like, you have to cast your mind back, like how Barca were perceived in 2011.
Well, so I'm going to jump here. That Barcelona team that we beat, that very team, is the best club, or national. It's one of the best sporting teams, in fact, I've ever witnessed. In terms of a level of sporting performance, whether it be Pete, Roger, Federer, whether it be, and I don't really watch many other sports, Lewis Hamilton, I don't know, whoever you want to put up. I can only talk from what I've watched. I've never watched every sport. I'm not saying. But that Barcelona team, at least in football, is the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly just for enjoyment of the sport. Like, this kind of gets into the whole debate about has the sport gone backwards? Is it boring or whatever? I'd be interested in what you think. I think basically being really good is less of an outlier now. Like, basically, I think everyone's just really good.
Sure.
And I think that means that the best teams, like, anyone sort of can beat anyone. If you look at the Premier League, like, tactically, everyone, there's no secrets in terms of scouting. Everyone knows all the data stuff. And I'm not saying that there aren't better players. But this is why I think the players putting up the same numbers as the guys in, the 90s and the 2000s now, and are that far ahead, considering the scouting, the data, the physical aspect, the development of football, the speed of the game. I think that makes it even more impressive. Whereas I think there's less of them. So maybe you think, they'll talk about the stat about there was 15 guys who got 30 goals and assists or more.
Yes.
About 15
I saw
15
that tweet,
years ago, and now it's like 3. Mm-hmm. I think for me, I don't go, the game's got worse. Yeah. I go, those guys are so impressive. Like Salah, what the...
Yeah. Well, but also, I think the whole has the product got worse. I'll be honest with you all, maybe not a great way to sell my content. I've got a little bit of football fatigue. And I don't know if it's the journey Arsenal have been on. I don't know if it's the bad season. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I'm not really tuning into the Premier League that much. That's what it is. Yeah, I think I'm a fraud. But I watched the Champions League, like, is it because we beat Madrid? Maybe. So I was watching PSG Villa and, catching the highlights, loving it. But I think I've got a bit of football fatigue. I also think we're just in a bit of a dull coaching era, because I think there are really talented footballers that given the platform, look what everyone's saying about Phil Foden now, but last year, banger, top bins after banger after top bins after, he was pulling out of the bag. So was he overcoached then? I just think, I hear what people are saying, and I don't dismiss it. I just don't know that it's definitely that the game's got worse, because, I saw someone, they were talking about all the sort of strikers we had then compared to the strikers we have now. And I'm like, but maybe the strikers we have now don't look as good because all the defenders are better.
That's basically my argument is that I think, go and watch the defending from a game from 2008 for Rooney scores 5, and you're like, this just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from Rooney. It's just, I think a lot of people think the game has done that, and I just think the game's done that.
Yeah.
But that means that there's fewer outliers, basically, and then it's more boring.
Or in doing that, it's pulled that down.
But I also do agree that generally the tactical edge of the game, where you're going to edge people, is so fine. The margin is so fine. So you have to play a certain way.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just get cooked. You have to play in the blocks and in the way that we see.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, I thought Real Madrid were evidence of that the other day. For 20 minutes, Luis Skelly was running the show, so they went, "Oh, Rodrigo, just tuck in a bit." Even with all the talent, even Ancelotti's not known as a major tactician, did something different.
That's one of the bad things about us beating Madrid, is they might go to a Xabi Alonso more positional system and not be Madrid. But it will always change. It will always change. And also, if you're interested in structures, it's more interesting than ever. It's just if you're interested in the 1v1 battles, whatever, it's less interesting than ever.
And with Barca 2011, bringing it back to this, right? Barca 2011, because of the tiki-taka and the nature of the football they played, it can feel like the freedom was there. But they were unbelievably structured still. There was two wingers on the touchline. Yeah. There was an idea of, I don't know if I need to watch them back. I don't know how much they really inverted the fullbacks, but there was definitely a particular use of them kind of around supporting a Busquets and a Xavi and an Iniesta. It wasn't just complete free fall. No. Pep Guardiola isn't drastically different. He's just constantly kind of tweaked his principles, maybe toned it down at times. But we also live in this world, because I see Gary Neville really championing the whole, the game is this, the game is that. I'm like, yeah, but because you criticize so much, and we all criticize so much. So that strive for perfection and controlling everything is somewhat driven by us. Yeah. And Gary Neville's a part of that too. So there's a lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah. No, I think it's very true. We have to pick a semi-finalist. So
for me, my vote goes to Barcelona, because I can't overlook that we beat, and look, to be fair, that Welbeck goal was against the eventual champions, but I can't overlook that we actually beat in 90 minutes. Playing our way, by the way, they had some chances. We had chances. We played really well. Jack Wilshere on the day as well. All of that, Fabregas against the club that were trying to sign him. And you talk about commentary. I think there was one piece of commentary that said a Barcelona goal by Arsenal.
Yeah.
And to have done it the way we did it, I loved it. Honestly, I was on a high till literally we played them the 2-3 weeks later.
I think thing is, you go back to what you said earlier, the moment around it, we did genuinely think we were going to win the league. I don't think anyone after that night thought we were going to win the Champions League.
That's a fair point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was thinking, the aggregate score will look a bit better at the
basically, I think it was a return to, we might be going back to where we were at that point 6-7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. We were cooking that season as well. At this point, we
had a very young team, and it was that kind of
Song, Wilshere, Fabregas, Nasri, Van Persie.
We're finally, getting back to the levels.
We looked good in the second half of that season. I can't remember if this was before or after the Carling Cup final we ended up losing, but anyway, for me, it's Barca.
I'm going to go Welbeck.
Okay, well, I guess
because just as a moment, if we're just isolating a moment of elation,
sure.
The idea that we could have gone on to win the title, I hate that we have to say that. The best moment I'll say to him is that we could have gone on to win a title. Rubbish.
I know.
But, and what I said earlier about the narratives around that team, I think, Barca was an unbelievable performance, but I don't think the Arshavin moment is better than the Welbeck moment.
I think it is.
If I'm being technical.
Fair enough, but I think even as a moment, I get what you're saying. What's our tiebreaker? How do we...
I don't know.
I mean,
What happens when we disagree? Does someone implodes somewhere?
we haven't figured this out. I've got an idea.
Go on.
Why don't you
Let's go.
live right now? Oh, your phone's there. I could do it on X. Why don't I just let the put it on X and do a poll?
Do a poll right now. Yeah.
Cool.
Do a poll. See what people say. We should stream this live at some point. Actually, that would be a cool idea.
Fun. Curious.
While you're doing that, I'll get on to the next one. So the next quarterfinal is Nelson. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Nelson versus Bournemouth against Giroud's scorpion kick. I don't even think this is a massive debate. I think this is Nelson by a mile. And I think, look, the Giroud, I think won the Puskas that year. It was an unbelievable goal. Can I say something about goals like that? For some people, and I'm curious what you think, some people think that goals going in off the woodwork makes it better. I don't agree. And that's why if the Rice free kick had gone in off the corner bar, like the corner of that bar, it would have cheapened it a little bit for me. It's the fact it's so clean. And some people, I think James, who appears on the channel, James Clark, I think I've seen him before say he likes it when it goes in off the bar. But I'm curious in your take.
I've just written, you're the tiebreaker, ... Better moment.
Okay.
Arshavin versus Barca, Welbeck versus Leicester. What did I spell wrong?
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, fantastic.
Just got balance.
We're literally going to let this run for 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Right,
And we'll see.
10-minute poll.
Yeah.
Boom. We're asking X live right now
We'll find out.
to decide. And actually, I'm not even going to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to. Well, yeah, we will come back to it. I'm really, really curious. On this, okay, there's one issue that Giroud has in this debate. Because Giroud's here because of an unbelievable piece of skill that we've never seen performed at the Emirates since. But Nelson's goal against Bournemouth is an unbelievable piece of skill. He flicks it from right foot to left foot, and then slaps it in the only place he could.
Yeah.
And again, we thought we were going to win the league from it. I mean, there's a bit of a common theme.
It's just getting baited.
But I mean, this kind of combines what we were talking about, technical quality, but also the moment that we thought might come from it, but also how late it was in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, this was
as
last kick gets. Giroud, thanks for the memories, but
who was that against Crystal Palace? It was a great goal. I think we did win that game, but there's no context. What do you think about what I was saying about the bar? Like, does it cheapen it for you, or does it? For me, it cheapens it. I feel like there'll be let me know what you think in the comments. For me, it cheapens it.
Aesthetically, I like the look of it not hitting the bar and going straight. But I guess technically, if it hits the bar or post and goes in, then it's less savable. It's even better.
True.
It's even more, beautifully struck.
Aesthetically, though,
I tell you, this is so petty of me. You ready?
Go on.
There's one thing that slightly ruins the Giroud scorpion kick moment for me. Was that the game after we played Bournemouth away, 3-0 down, with 20 minutes to go, we score 3. Giroud gets the equaliser. Still quite a few minutes to play. And he does the scorpion kick as his celebration. And I think players had to run over and pull him back like come on, we can actually still win this.
I don't remember
And
that.
I can't pretend, I can't like that. That's slightly...
Was that Monaco performance in the same year? Because if it was, he's immediately disqualified.
No, it wasn't in the same year.
Was it 2014 that?
It was 16-17 was the scorpion kick.
Yeah, but the Monaco, when was the Monaco?
15-16.
Oh, no, it was 14-15.
Oh, was it 14? You're right, 14-15, my bad. Yeah.
Oh, no, hang on. No. Ignore me.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. It was 14-15.
Yeah, 14-15. That was absolutely honk. But I think the scorpion kick was 16-17. I could be wrong. But I mean,
no, I agree. I think it's 16-17.
Maybe we just disqualify him anyway.
I just think...
Yeah, 17.
Okay, my reaction to watching what Giroud did was, whoa, oh my God. My reaction to Reece Nelson was, I went nuts around the AFTV studio.
Yeah.
It's
got to be Reece Nelson.
I'm a terrible actor, so I didn't quite reenact my elation.
Yeah.
But my point is, the reaction that what the Nelson goal did for me. Yeah. And again, I was at a party later that night, and I was just with football fans, just talking
that was
about
a way better.
People just went, football. like football.
Yeah.
Right? From 2-0 down, we need to remember. Yeah, Nelson's through. Sorry, Giroud.
There's a video of me, and also in the moment, I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it in. There's a video of me at the time, and I knew something was coming, so I filmed myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just knew we were going to win. Because it was that year. We were just like, I just know something's going to happen.
We were scoring a lot of late goals.
Yeah. And I think it was, again, it's that hoping, expecting thing I was talking about earlier. We were hoping that year. Yeah. There was no guarantee. And we were like, oh my God, we're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
We're actually going to do it.
And once again.
It was amazing. Yeah, Nelson's definitely through.
Yeah. Cool.
Quarterfinal.
Yeah, and if I may say, probably the weakest quarterfinal, if I'm being really honest.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, good. We might have some debate around this. What makes this a strong quarterfinal?
So this is the Miles moment, but the City 5-1 and against Wilshere against Norwich. I think as a goal, the Wilshere against Norwich is my favourite goal I've seen at the Emirates. No, that's not fair. Rice. It's the best goal, which is different from favourite. I think that's the best because I just team over individual every single time.
Sure.
As a team to define, like if you could define Wenger ball, you show them that goal.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's very.
And it was scored by number 10 from our academy, like created in Wenger's mind.
Yeah,
it's just the perfect goal.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I think Wilshere against Norwich is a bit of a... Problem is the context around it isn't particularly good because we don't... What did we do? 13-14?
We were a good team that year. We got on to win the FA Cup. We had some injuries that meant... I think we would have had a better go at the title that year if Ramsey hadn't got injured. And
if that was in the FA Cup run, I think this could have won it because it goes on to win a trophy. But I think as a goal, that for me is the best goal we've scored in the Emirates.
Let me make a fight for City 5-1. Because I actually think I lean towards City, but I don't really know why. So let's break it down. There's something I love about the sheer injustice of the 2-2 at the Etihad. Some City goal with a deflection. Yeah. Sorry, you might have to mute that.
That's okay, fine.
There we go.
Uncensored here.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. It's Gabby saying after the game of the Etihad, like we're waiting for them at the Emirates. Yeah. It's the atmosphere that day. It's Lewis Skelly and Winnie Helen doing their thing against a team that have been, and I take no credit from Man City away in terms of what they've achieved, how brilliant they are, what Genius Guardiola is, but kind of two youngsters doing against a team that have been made financially, which a lot of our team have been too. I'm just saying there's kind of something there. To the Lewis Skelly moment after what Haaland said to him. Yeah. There's just so much about it that's just mwah, chef's kiss. Like Haaland scoring, but it not matter because we battered them. Arteta getting that big result over Guardiola. And I might be wrong, I think they'd started to put a little bit of form together. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, they'd certainly.
I'm actually going to double check that. I think I know they had a bad
certainly
season.
Turned the corner.
But the signings were in.
I think also just the context of City in the last 6-7 years, but also specifically the last 2 seasons against us as well. Like
they just beat an Ipswich 6-0. Cool lost at PSG, but then beat Chelsea 3-1 and beat Bruges 3-1. Like 3 wins in 4.
They turned it around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, I keep thinking of the feeling it left me with. Very sort of cringe way to look at it, but that's, I guess, was the whole point of moments. But City 5-1 again in what's been such a dark season.
Yeah.
Such a dark season finishing second, but in the context of what we expected, especially from the league campaign, for me, City 5-1 gets the vote. Like, I think it was... I hear you as a moment, the Wilshere goal is iconic, but we beat City 5-1. And the story around it is unbelievable.
Again, if we're being technical, I have to go back to it. We picked the Miles goal. Yeah. I think the Miles goal isn't as good a moment as the Wilshere. Just because I'm not saying it's an amazing moment.
Sure.
I'm not saying it isn't an amazing moment. It might deserve to be on here on its own. But I think the Wilshere. I think basically the context of the City 5-1 adds so much to that. Yeah. Whereas I think the Wilshere one, there's not loads of context about it. I think you've convinced me to be fair.
What, have I?
Yeah. I
thought we were going to have to do another tiebreaker. I
think I'm being biased. I love that Wilshere goal so much.
Mm-hmm.
it's like it defines my football upbringing. Like a lot of my, if I was a manager, like the way I'd play or try to play at least. But that I will have to beat. But yeah, I
4-hour edit this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so we have 3 of our quarterfinalists. We have the Rice free kick.
Yeah.
We say the second one for the Rice free kick.
Yeah.
I think it has to be the second one for me, just of the quality of the goal. We have the Nelson goal against Bournemouth. We have Miles's goal against City, but we need to find out who won the other quarterfinal off the lovely, lovely website known as X.
With 125 votes, 66.4% think Arshavin versus Barca.
Wow. There you go. Okay. So Arshavin goes through.
There's 1 minute left, so unless a load of votes pour through, but yeah.
I thought it'd be Welbeck.
Okay.
There you go. Arshavin goes through. So the first semi-final is Rice's free kick against the Arshavin moment against Barca in 2011. Both in Europe.
The beauty of
That's quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
One in both
Spanish giants.
One side domestically, one side European.
The beauty of getting past the quarters is we don't have to reminisce on every moment again. But so this becomes interesting because what were the criteria we were talking about? The context around it, the opposition, the actual skill involved. Look, I think if you're talking the skill involved, right, for me,
it's Rice, yeah.
And I know you could talk about
it's a nice goal, though.
The team goal.
It's a team goal, yeah. It's a nice goal.
But I mean, you know, I'm not trying to take anything away. Every time you're trying to argue for something, you're slagging off the other one.
Twitter brain.
But like, yeah, a little bit. But you know,
so you're saying
it was a good goal. It was a very good counter attack. It was well worked. I think what Rice did was unbelievable.
Yeah,
like the skill where he put it. And I keep saying the context of that second free kick, because he just scored another. Yeah. Like it could be so easy to get in your head and be like, "Oh my god, I'm not going to do it again." Am I? Yeah. Like it can be so easy to do that.
Yeah, and like again, so soft factor, but I knew he was going to do it, which made it better.
What do you mean?
The second one, I knew he was going to score.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. And I, you know, whether people believe me or not, I don't care. But like, he put the ball down. I went, he's scoring.
Really?
Yeah. So I felt this save's about to go mad.
Wow.
So it was like even the moment of the moment was like a good...
Do you think everyone just felt it because he'd scored?
Yeah.
Everyone was
he's going to score another.
You know, one thing I've noticed post the Rice free kicks, I actually sometimes notice when I'm at the game, when you're watching it from whatever angle you're watching it from in the stadium, and also you're watching it like on people's footage that they've taken from the ground, it never looks as far away.
Yeah.
Watching it on TV,
yeah,
I was like, this is so far.
Yeah.
And it is so far because you can see where, like, literally, if you actually stop and scan where it is on the pitch, it's a long way. He's not on the edge of the penalty area.
Rice actually said that in his post-match.
I think he said it.
I think he said it looks further than it felt.
Right. That's
weird,
actually. So that's exactly the sensation I've got, which is watching it like, I couldn't believe he'd done it again.
Yeah.
But maybe there, kind of in the moment, it feels a little bit.
Is this just recency bias? The thing is, okay, if we went on to win the Champions League from here, it's obviously the best Emirates moment. But there might be another one. You never know. So could be a late win. Say there's a late win against the PSG, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but just putting it out there into the universe.
We're putting it out there.
Say there's a late winner in the PSG semi-final, second leg at the Emirates.
Yeah. I know. I tell you, okay, so the argument for Barca, then there are some, genuinely. Like I said, this Barca team, better than that Real Madrid team.
Agree. But I was going to say we shouldn't downplay the Madrid team. Like the idea that this is just a rubbish. This is a team that just won the Champions League, won La Liga last season,
and added Mbappe.
Like it's not a rubbish team.
Absolutely, totally right.
Even though we made them look so.
Well, yes, for 90 we did. One more, Arsenal. Go on, please. The Barca team. I think it's like, don't take this all too seriously. Barca 2011 are there. Real Madrid 2025 are here.
Yeah.
And then we might be like here.
Yeah.
But Arsenal 2011 are.
Yeah.
They're not even close to those three teams.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're even in the conversation with those two.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the other thing. It was such an upset. Even though it was only 2-1 and ours was a 3-0 win. If you ask me what was more likely that Arsenal team beat Barcelona 2-1 or our team beat Real Madrid 3-0, I think kind of lean towards us beating Real Madrid 3-0. They had defensive issues. They had like injuries across the back. And we've challenged for 2 titles in the years before that.
Yeah. I still think it's Rice. I think it's Rice.
Can I tell you something?
Go on.
So do I.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is.
Again, okay, what are the categories you could pick for a moment? The quality of the skill that was there, I think Rice beats Arshavin.
We should have written this down. Yeah.
We should have written this down, but we're doing it now.
Yeah.
The context in every aspect, so the opposition matches, like, okay, Barca probably get a touch better.
How the season was going, all that.
How the season was going.
Yeah.
The context of the game as well, because like we started really well, and like I think that was the Arshavin was the second goal.
Yeah.
So like we were already 1-up. I suppose we were already 1-up against Rice.
No, it was 1-1. It was 1-1 when Arshavin. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's a tick in the Barca direction.
Actually, yeah, because it's a winner.
Because it's a winner.
Oh God!
Ooh,
well, then Rice.
there you go.
We can't say Rices aren't winners. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not, but they are.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I hate this game.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a good answer. What other category? What other things could you? What other metrics could
Do you know
there
what we're
be?
gonna have to do?
Go on.
We're gonna have to not figure this out together. We're gonna have to decide. We're gonna have to decide each who we think it is, and then if we disagree, it goes to X.
No, I think we.
But you know, I think we are gonna.
Should we say it in 3, 2, 1?
Okay, hold on. Let me just think about this for a sec. What was a better moment? Okay.
Because you forget. The problem is you forget the context when it's like that long. When it's that long ago, whereas that context is the current context. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The thing is, I found my. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
3, 2, 1. Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just is.
Like, it's 51-49.
It's really close.
Yeah.
But I think it is Rice.
Do you know what it is? There was something...
First ever free kick as well.
I know. And there was something just sensational about the performance, the evening, all of it. And I think, okay, we don't know what's going to happen to the Bernabeu. And if we get through, don't know what's going to happen in the semi-finals. But I think you're so right in something you said way earlier. The Arshavin Barca, it felt like a moment and just a moment.
Yeah.
Whereas the Rice...
No one felt that we were going to win the Champions League.
Well, the Rice free kicks have got me believing that we could.
Yeah.
But also, it was like a reminder to everyone of what this team's about. And then I know we keep talking about content. Berta's now here. I don't think we're going to have anything like the summer we just had. I don't think the club will allow that. The belief of the team. I just think there's just so much more to it.
Yeah. The only thing I push back is we are slightly filling in the blanks going forward, and that's kind of unfair on the Barcelona. But
you're right.
I will say that our Arshavin one felt more like a punch up that we landed. Yeah. This felt like a punch across, which in some ways, weirdly to me, feels better.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
It's like...
I get what you're saying. But a lot of people thought we were punching up with the Rice moment. Well, I think there were a lot of others, mainly Arsenal fans, who went, no, hold on. Yeah. We kind of can belong, and we proved it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think even we were shocked by Arshavin.
Are we removing the context of the Wilshere performance? Because that, if we're talking about, that was an amazing part of that performance.
Wilshere outshone Xavi and Iniesta in their prime on that day.
Can I say something slightly controversial?
Oh, go on.
Slightly overrated, that performance.
No.
Slightly. By which I mean, before everyone kills me, some people are like, it's the greatest performance in an Arsenal shirt I've ever seen.
Okay, it's not that.
It's one of Wilshere's best performances. It's an unbelievable night. He absolutely bests them.
Yeah.
Go watch it back. I watched it back recently. It's good.
Yeah. Do you know, we are going off on a tangent. Do you know what I loved about that performance so much from Wilshere? And I don't know if it's going to make any sense. And maybe you're all going to think I'm trying to sound too clever. I'm really not. I genuinely mean what I'm about to say. He played the game so differently.
Yeah.
Like letting players coming to press and letting the ball roll past him. And he was beating them without touching the ball. I was like, wow, his use of his body and the way there's little things he did where he would just almost glide with the ball at his feet. And it was almost all in one touch. He'd taken it in 3 different directions and we were off. There was just things he did on that day that I was like, I've never seen a midfielder do this. And you watch more football and you learn. Yeah. But I'm just saying, I was so mesmerised by that performance. And it's not the greatest performance I've ever seen from an Arsenal player. But it's one of them.
Yeah.
For me, personally.
It's up there. Do you know what, as well? I have to put my casual tax on it because these were my casual years.
No, fine,
I remember watching this game.
Yeah.
But I'd watch the big European games, but apart from that, I wouldn't.
I have such an affection for that day because do you ever get the feeling just like something's going to happen today?
Every day.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. It's so weird. I actually don't really believe in any of this stuff. I think it's just being a football fan and watching enough to know your team. But I remember waking up that morning going, I think we can beat Barcelona today.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. And you're a young fan or whatever. Look, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Both
I think it's
magical.
Rice. I think it's Rice. But it's close.
And I'm going to say Rice for me gets my vote. So I think we agree he's in the final. But Barca's top two. Like I know they're on the same side, but I think
if it was on the other side,
if we were just ranking this, Barca's my second. I really. That holds a special place in my heart, personally.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I've got a slight disagreement with that, but you go.
Fair enough.
So the other semi-final is Miles versus Reece Nelson.
Yeah. So you've got two fairly recent ones in there. With these,
both Hairlanders, which is a nice thing, again.
With these, they're kind of completely separate moments. One in a title race, last minute, unbelievable strike, clean as can be, skill unmatched. Whereas the other is more the opposition, the kind of narrative going into it, the particular players who scored. Like, they're very, very different moments. I fear we may go through this quite quickly, so I'll just say I think Nelson edges it because I think the Emirates, I don't know what someone who doesn't watch football but lives near the Emirates must have heard that day.
I think you can't, because of the way the season was going, I think because it's more recent, we can be a bit more specific about where the season was. Because of the way the season was going, the City thing felt great, but no, I don't think anyone after that performance went, we're going to go and win the league.
Some did.
Well, yeah.
I might have thought.
That's called delusion.
I might have thought there could have been a chase.
There could have been a race.
We could have closed the gap.
When you see the Sky graphics, it's like the title race, and we're 57 points behind.
They're just up. They're insulting us. Find another segment.
Just call it a title. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cakewalk.
Just call it. Just call it the top two.
Yeah.
Just you know what I mean?
Just the table.
Let's have a look at
the table.
The Premier League table. Yeah. Oh, it's only to second. Okay.
Yeah. The skill as well, like Miles's goal is really nice, but that was an amazing moment from Nelson. The reaction of the players, the limbs, the time of the goal, the context of the season, the context of the Arteta project.
Yeah.
I think it's Nelson.
I think so too.
I think it's Nelson.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think City 5-1 only just made it past Wilshere, to be fair. I think both would have lost out to Nelson, Bournemouth.
Yeah. I think that's like people would have that picture framed of like that Nelson. Like
him running off celebrating with everyone.
Yeah, and everyone's like that. And
It's,
I don't think it should be understated how much everyone was like, this is our year.
I think we keep missing when we're talking about this. We were 2-0 down.
That's such a good point, yeah.
We were 2-0 down. And Arsenal don't really overturn leads under Arteta.
We hadn't at that time, particularly.
No, for ages.
Did Saliba play that game? Was that?
Yeah, he did. He did play. He did play that game. Yeah, 100%. Because he was one of the players who lost his head.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he went nuts. People thought he might have scored or something because he went off running. He went off crazy, I think. And also, this is just a personal thing for me. It was also. Listen, I'm not proud of everything I say on AFTV, but I was on there and...
Yes! Well done, Arsenal!
It's a bloody good effort. Good goal, Reece. I remember, is that you got the teams there?
Yeah, it was. Okay.
I remember I was on the watch-along and they cut to me because I was on a separate set, just sort of hearing commentary, doing whatever. And I remember everyone was dejected, like, oh my God, we're 2-0 down to Bournemouth. And I remember saying, because I'd done some research into Bournemouth, I was like, they've thrown away quite a few 2-goal leads already this season. Like, now's the time to figure out what you're made of. Yeah. And and I just remember, I'm bigging myself up here massively, but I just remember thinking, keep calm. There's a long time to go.
Yeah.
And then after, as much as you're elated, you feel somewhat vindicated for like kind of sticking with the team in that moment.
The only thing I'd say, and well done you for being right.
Woo.
Very clever. The only thing I'd say is the context of the opposition is maybe the only other thing to put in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Because obviously beating City 5-1 is different to beating Bournemouth 3-2. But just as a moment, Bournemouth finished 15th that year. Did have Solanke, and you know who else they had in goal that day? Do you know who conceded that goal?
Neto, right?
Norberto Neto.
Yeah.
But I think it's Nelson. So we have a final.
Okay.
And that is Rice's free kick against Real Madrid against Reiss Nelson against Bournemouth.
For people watching this could easily be Henri's return versus Barca 20.
Yeah.
Like if we just move this around slightly differently.
I can't believe you.
Yeah, I know. And on a different day, it could, so don't think because one got knocked out of the quarters that we think it's worse than Wilshere's goal versus Norwich or City.
It'd be interesting if we rank this because it depends where you come in the seeding, right?
I think. Yeah, it will, and we won't always do knockouts like this. There will be a ranking system, which I think will be really fun to do because I think we'll almost argue even more as to, well, how can this be better than that but worse than that? So there'll definitely be more.
There is always a right answer in debates.
I think there's a whole top 10 goals to do. I mean, these are just moments. I think there's a hot top, and a lot of these will come back up. Rice has 2 of them already. So I think that will be really fun. By the way, I just want to add, people who say it's the best free kick. Some people say it's the best free kick that's ever been scored for Arsenal, the Rice one. I think the Van Persie one away at Charlton, I don't know if you remember 2006, off the crossbar and in. He did a similar one,
again,
I think, against...
James, it cheapens it for me.
Sorry, I'm talking nonsense.
Off the crossbar.
I'm talking complete... It was a volley against Charlton. It was a free kick against Sunderland at home where that was unbelievable as well. But anyway, sorry. Before you all get on to me.
Free kicks off the bar. I'm sorry, it's just really one of my things. Do you have one of those where it just cheapens the goal?
Yeah.
When it takes a deflection, it's like, it's just not. I want that clean.
And awful of me to say because you just said it, but I might as well mention it. That's what just chops a little % off the Lewis Skelly goal against City.
It takes a deflection.
It does take
yeah.
Does it take a deflection or does the keeper get to it but not enough? I can't quite remember.
I think it might come off Edison's arm. Well, I can't remember who's in goal that day.
It was something like that, and that.
Yeah, it shouldn't, but it does.
Matter.
It shouldn't, but it does.
If he just slapped it in the top corner with his right foot, maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
my vote in this final, I think I have to give it to Reiss. Here's my case for Reiss. Haylander, in a title race, how late it was, the quality of the actual finish itself, the moment in the stadium where it drops to him and you get the there's silence.
Were you in the stadium?
No,
fine. But you're right. I mean, you can hear it, but yeah.
You hear it on the replay.
Yeah.
Top bins, then the celebration. I don't know what I don't know what other metrics can decide a moment. It's the person, the moment, the context, the team that we love as well. It's a team like that 22-23 season. Turning a game around again, which is a good point you made.
Yeah. Okay, so you can.
But I hate the fact that the best moment at the Emirates is a title race we didn't win. Okay, so
very, very good points. A lot of them I made for previous rounds as well. So I'm so with you on all that. But
and I'm not going to flip them.
Rice. The arguments that are the opposition.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I know it's a moment. I know, but it's that he did it a second time. It's the context of the injuries, the disappointment of our season, the needing something. We needed something. We needed a hero, and we got it.
We needed a hero against Bournemouth. Reiss steps up.
We did, but we didn't. Even without knowing how the rest of the season went, a draw, you take it on to the next game. I'm just saying, this was one time Real Madrid at the Emirates. If you don't get it done now, good luck getting it done at the Bernabeu. And boom, he steps up with two of the best goals I've ever scored.
Hang on, because that Bournemouth is one chance and done. You have that game, you chuck those points away.
Fine, yeah.
Theoretically,
you're right.
You can go to the Bernabeu and
fine.
Let's be clear, it's hard to. But theoretically, you can go to the Bernabeu and
True.
And win.
Okay, that's actually that's a very good way of flipping a look at it. I agree with that. I
Normally with these debate shows, you get like clips of people. Like, we're just like, yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
That's actually a really good point.
I think I've completely changed my mind.
You actually convinced me now.
Yeah. So you think Rice and I think Reece. Brilliant.
I think it's Reece.
I think it's Rice. Should we not? Should we for this one? Should we not put it to X? Should we put it in the comments?
I think we put it in the comments.
Those are our finalists.
Yeah.
You know what we both think. I think the Rice free kick is I think they're the greatest moments of the Emirates era. And you think the Reece Nelson.
And I think the Reece Nelson goal is the best moment.
And you will decide. Should we put 2 comments? Like if you put 2 cannon comments.
Yeah, like this if. And like this if.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know you can't pin.
Do you know what would be funny is if you put.
I'll work out with it.
If you put a TDK comment and I put a Goodabest comment, we like. We're calling on our communities.
Yeah.
No, both from the cannon. That would be really fun.
I'll work out how to do it. I'll put it in the comments.
We've done every round. We've given our arguments, and then they can let us know.
Okay.
What was better? But that's.
There you go. That was a good debate.
That was really fun.
Good debate. As we said,
I really hope the audios will come.
Yeah, mate. So do I.
We cancel the show
if this doesn't work. Technically, I'm flying George over.
No, that is completely fair.
And we'll record in your house.
No, that's completely. Yeah. I'll just be sat in the corner, just like rejected from the show.
Yes. Well, let us know what you thought of that. I had a good time.
A really good time. It's amazing. And also, it's a shame the other recording didn't go out, but we're doing very well at hitting the hour perfectly.
Yeah, very good.
It's very good.
Very good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let us know what you thought of that. As we said at the top of the show, if there's... Basically, we would love this show to become what you want us to debate. So I would love to start every week with, we had a comment from this person on Patreon, on YouTube, whatever it might be. Here's what we're debating this week. I think that would be really cool. Yeah. To become like a kind of community-based show. James, where can people find you if they don't know you?
Well, everywhere. No. Obviously, I do my AFTV stuff, but my 2 channels are The Gooniverse and The Gooniverse 2. If you want more detail on stuff, then The Gooniverse. If you want just instant reaction to extra bits of news I do in the rounds.
Arsenal kits. That's what I saw the other day.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed it.
Mate, honestly.
Yeah. So, for example, home kick got leaked. I'll cover that on The Gooniverse 2. Some big news. But you know what? We're chatting about it. So, that's me. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Let me know. Tell them, obviously, about the different not.
No. Let us know what you thought in the comments.
Is there a TDK2 coming?
Yeah, I want to do press conference analysis. I'm such a nerd. I haven't got time, James. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Let us know what you thought in the comments, as I said. Thanks, as always, for being here. And thanks for keeping it Arsenal.